This is Luke Basin with MMA Fancast. I'm joined by the winner tonight in the main event for 247 Fighting Championships, their first ever debut event here inside the Sunny Days Arena at the venue. Lewis, Violent Bob Ross Pena, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's great to have you. First time on.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. It's been a minute. I haven't really done too many interviews or podcasts in a while, so I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, I appreciate you willing to come on, particularly with not doing a lot recently. You were the main event. How did this come together? You ended up being brought in, obviously, main event, a lot of experience. You and Khama Worthy had fought, I think it was 5 years ago in the UFC. And then did 247 reach out to you? Is that kind of, how did this come together? And what was your motivation-wise to fight Khama again?
So this actually goes back to before I was ever in the UFC. The matchmaker for 247, Hunter Homestead, me and him met each other before I was ever in the UFC. When I was going, I think it was my last fight, my last couple fights before I made it on to The Ultimate Fighter. They were both broadcast by Flow Combat back in the day.
Yeah.
And Hunter was one of their main guys that were doing interviews and all that kind of stuff. And so he reached out to me, and we kind of grew a working relationship from then on. And he was always one of those guys that I always made sure to give my time to interviews and all that, because he's been with me from the beginning. And he just happened to reach out to me a couple months ago and was like, hey man, we have an opportunity for you to get a win, to kind of get your win back over Khama if you would be interested. And when they offered it to me, especially offering me a kickboxing match, I jumped on it. As far as motivation for fighting Khama, obviously, when it's a rematch, especially a rematch where you lost, you want to get that win back, you want to get your lick back. But I actually had a lot more motivation from my outside life going into this one. I have an 18-month-old daughter now.
Oh, nice, congratulations.
And things in my life haven't necessarily been the easiest in the past couple months. And so I was telling my baby mama, actually, like this fight for me was kind of the light at the end of the tunnel of some adversity I've been dealing with in my personal life. And so I've had a lot of motivation between just training, getting up every day to make things happen for me and my family.
Well, that's wonderful. And then talk about the fight itself. It was a three-round pro kickboxing rule set, which both of you guys are known as strikers, so that of course makes sense. And so what did you think round by round? How did you think about your performance in round one? And then we'll get to them one round at a time.
I know going after, I felt really good in that first round. It's Khama right there.
Yeah, there's Khama right there.
I felt really good in the first round, and I was actually surprised at how much I was able to touch him with my hands. And that actually it worked in my favor and kind of distracted me from focusing on using my lower body as well. And then I knew after dropping him, based on the rule set, automatically won that round. And then going into the second round, Khama's a little awkward. You know what I mean? He throws. He found success with that overhand, and so we just kept going with it. And it's kind of hard. It was hard to make an adjustment as well, because and this is something I was telling my corner after the fight. It was kind of difficult to make the adjustment to not get completely hit by it, because I either had my left up or I was sliding just enough to where there wasn't as much impact when he landed. And so I never felt truly in danger, even when he would land clean. So it was almost like my mind was like playing tricks on me in getting out of the way of that. But then I also tore, I want to say about a minute, maybe 45 seconds left in the second, I hit him with a really, really good knee to the body, and I noticed his body language change, and I knew if I came out in the third and landed something really good and hard to the body in early, that would get him on his bike, and then I would be able to kind of take over, and I felt like that's exactly what I did, and was able to to eke out the split decision with that third round performance.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. I always like to hear what you can remember, because part of being a fighter is you're not remembering every single second. You're just kind of going with the flow and what's going on. And it was a split decision, which I don't think is any fighter's favorite way to win or lose, but it was a close fight. So I think it was great. The crowd loved it. And obviously you now have a win over him to, kind of balance the loss. But talk about the idea of potentially rematching a third time, the rubber match, against Khama, maybe in karate combat. What would that be like?
So yeah, we were originally supposed to fight, I want to say July 19th, but something happened to that card, and so 247 decided to combine the fights left on that card with what they had already matched for this card to make, to kind of finalize everything for this. And when that happened, Karate Combat actually reached out to me and asked if I wanted to step in on short notice to fight this guy at 180 or something like that. And I told him, I was like, no, that's not going to happen. But I do know someone that might be willing to fight me if you guys want me on the card. So I messaged Khama, we talked about it, and they had actually also messaged him to try and take that fight.
Sure.
And so we're both kind of like, man, neither of us are even like 180 pounders. Like neither of us really get up to 180 even outside of training and everything. So we talked about it and we were like, let's go ahead and run this, see how it goes. And then, if there's a rubber match that needs the trilogy match that needs to happen, we can go either Karate Combat or Dirty Boxing, with Mike Perry. I think tonight we showed a lot of people that regardless of the rule set, Khama Worthy and Luis Pena, you put them on the card against each other, we're going to entertain the fans.
Well, I think that's perfect. I would love to watch you guys fight again, whether it's like you said in a boxing rule set or karate combat. That's just great. And I'm glad that with whatever your personal stuff, I'm glad that this was able to be a light at the end of the tunnel. You stay focused, and obviously coming into Pittsburgh. I don't know if you've been into Pittsburgh much, but what was it like coming in here?
This is actually my first time in Pittsburgh, like the Western PA area, and like I said, there in the cage, man, I was surprised at the hospitality I've gotten from the community here. I really, really appreciate it, man. It reminds me of being back home in the South in Arkansas. But no, man, I really enjoy it. This area is really, really beautiful too. That's one of the things I enjoy about traveling with my career and everything, is just getting to see all these different places around the country and around the world, experiencing different kind of cultures and subcultures throughout the country, and then also kind of getting the opportunity to meet different people and see new landscapes and things. One thing too is I'm so glad I was able to get a Primo's hoagie. I haven't had one in like 5 years.
Oh, Primanti's?
No, Primo's.
Oh, Primo's. Okay, my brain went Primanti's.
Okay. Now Primanti's, I've heard a bunch of good things about.
You haven't had a
Primanti's?
No, I'm not. Well, no, because you were on your cut when you got out.
Is it worth?
To me, it is.
All right, I guess tomorrow.
But they're a little, and I'm not saying this to see we're recording. I'm not saying this to offend anybody. They're a bit on the greasy side because they put the French fries right on your sandwich.
Okay.
That's like the whole thing. They put, if you take it the original way, they do. I always get a ham and cheese, it's like a grilled ham and cheese or whatever you want, burgers, whatever. Sometimes they'll do an egg. They'll put like an egg on it, and then it'll have fries right into the same, and coleslaw. Ooh, that's like what they're known for. And that was from maybe the 20s or 30s, the Permani brothers, up in where the steel mills were in Pittsburgh. That was like basically it was a way to feed the steel workers everything you'd eat in one. Because coleslaw, French fries, they'd wrap it, and that way they could eat it like
you got a whole
food thing. But they are. I mean, I like them, but you like the Primo, so that's.
See, I'm a traditional Italian hoagie kind of guy.
So that's why Primo, you were like, I'm in. Yeah. I don't know if you're a traditional Italian hoagie. Not to offend people like me that love Primanti's, it's not a traditional Italian. It's just a different thing.
Okay.
So you'd have to kind of be open to that.
All right. Hey, that might be where I'm going for lunch tomorrow because I'm not leaving till like 8 p.m.
That would be perfect. And there's chains of them everywhere. The original is in downtown. It's a little hard to get to, but there's chains all around. And I think. Well, you'll just Google it, but they recently put one in like Bridgeville.
There's one
which
close.
isn't that far away.
I saw on the map. There is one.
Yeah, they're all over. And surprisingly, since we're sidetracked on this, they put a couple in Florida because of retirees. Because people retire to Florida and say, I want my Primanis.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. I saw a couple Primanis when I was out there.
When you were down in Florida. Yeah, there you go. Well, it's always good to talk food. I always say, I used to say, I have a fat guy's heart in a skinny kid's body, but now I have a fat guy's body to go along with the fat guy's heart. I love talking about food, but I really appreciate you taking time. My name's Luke Pace of MMA Fincast, joined by Violent Bob Ross, victorious tonight in the main event for 247 Fighting Championship. Louis Pena, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Congrats.